Hey kids, welcome to a channel that is, well, mostly about rhetorics and stuff related to it. I am a professional in the field, but since I'm not an English native speaker, I'm not actually a professional, English speaker either. But I'm going to analyze some phenomenon on this channel, and one of those is this recent strange debacle or argument going on regarding a trend of painting English flags, or the St. George's Cross I think it's called, on roundabouts in England. And the reason for this is to provoke a little bit. It's nationalism gone haywire and so on. And I didn't really became interested in this before the sudden counter wave happened, where some people painted I think it was a peace sign and a rainbow flag on top of this. A counter provocation, if you will. Or just people who want to diffuse it. I mean, that thing is a bit unclear. Anyways, it's the phenomenon going on here is people talking about triggers. You can see it in the comment sections of each article about this. There's a bunch of people, especially on the far right, that talk about lefties being triggered. And they use this in a demeaning way, kind of arguing that if you get triggered, you lose. You're just emotional, you're just irrational. There's nothing serious about you. But here's the thing. You can clearly see that both sides are triggered. They just show it in different ways. The left tend to show it in a more emotional way, and the right tend to show it in a passive, aggressive way. Like laugh reacting to comments that mention anything about this, or in general just trying to dismiss it with passive aggressiveness. And that kind of is a very relevant topic in today's rhetoric climate. The use of passive aggressiveness as a way to demeanor your opponents. You don't answer them. You just let them kind of lose their temper, perhaps, because guess what? There are topics out there that will trigger everyone. Only psychopaths are immune to emotional triggers, really. I mean, that's just a medical fact. If you have no emotional triggers at all, then there is something seriously wrong with you. You have some form of diagnosis that is probably not very good. And that's not an opinion. That's a medical fact. And so it's just how it is shown and so on that differs. And political and ideological things can influence people here. Some people from some backgrounds tend to be more expressive of their feelings and so on, and then you will have people who are not. And there's a pattern here, left and right, for sure. And I would argue that people on the right tend to be perhaps sometimes very emotionally suppressed, and this is clearly shown in how they react when they get triggered. Like, for instance, when people paint rainbow flags on a roundabout that was already vandalized with a St. George's cross. Now let me get this out right away, because I don't really care if people paint these things on anything. I think it's fine. I mean, as vandalizes goes, this is quite harmless and cute and so on. And you know, it is a roundabout. It's not like it's a property or wall of someone that gets destroyed. So I'm fine with it. Let people express themselves like this. And if you're in England, sure, paint English flags. But if you live in England, you're also living in a country that is progressive, that is modern. So let people express other opinions as well, and express that the fact that the country is a modern society with rights for people of various sexual identity and so on. Just let people express themselves. So, triggers. I think we are seeing a society, and I'm getting to this part now about letting people express themselves, where the fact that a lot of people don't really have an argument is shown with these kinds of things. We are seeing emotional things. We are just seeing people randomly, passive aggressively reacting to things, or just vandalizing things and so on. And I don't necessarily think that is in itself always a good thing. I actually think that, you know, the comment sections on social media, or media in general, is a bad thing. People can't handle it. It's not moderated well. And whoever came up with a stupid idea of having laugh reacts, well, that person, probably a single person, if we could identify that person, name that person, that would be a good thing, because that asshole has on its own probably created more division, I mean, not diversity, division in society, modern Western society, than anybody else. Because that allows people to provoke other people without having to put up a real argument, without having to express themselves and say, hey, I think you're wrong, and let me explain to you why. It just lets people provoke. That's the only point of the laugh react. Sure, if you're a funny comedian and you do funny skits, yeah, people are going to laugh react as well. I know. But people are using it to laugh react at other people's comments just to provoke. That is also a fact. And social media is not doing anything to take this away. Social media is a real nasty infection on the freedom of speech, democratic bubble. They are not a good thing, because they don't take responsibility, and they create so much division and just strange situations that's not good for anything, really, other than creating division. And guess who use this? People with an agenda. It's not just random idiots commenting on the net or using this reaction. No. It is something used by propaganda institutions across the world. And we all know that these exist, especially in countries like There are totalitarian like China, North Korea, and Russia. It's well known that they use these things, that they have institutions that implant, I wouldn't use the word memes, but that's actually what it is, memes into the minds of people and do what they can to ensure that they spread. They react, they comment, they incite small things. They work on the notion of patience, which is the best instrument there is in any form of argument, because they do small things constantly. And the really sad part is that they push on those buttons of the idiots out there that are easy to push, and all of a sudden you have a lot of people doing their work for them, being useful idiots, using laugh reacts to passively aggressively demeanor their opponent, their political opponent, instead of, using good arguments. And this is a sad development. I can't see anything other than social media taking its responsibility in this to make it better. Social media need to remove all kinds of react things other than maybe the like symbol, because they are misused. Clearly. It doesn't take a genius to see this. So, a small introductory comment on how rhetoric plays a real big part in today's society. Stick around. I will post more things on this on the channel.